Hello, you're welcome to Gist Arena. All we do is and gist. We discuss topical, trending, and exciting topics, and we have fun while at it. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy each thrilling moment of and gist.
Hello. You are welcome to another episode of Gist Arena. I am Hayatunde, and here with me is Adenike, also known as AMH. Of course, Cynthia is here with me too. Today we will be discussing a very interesting topic. Recently, there was this social media trend of Stingy Men and Stingy Women Association. Actually, I think Stingy Men Association started first, and then the ladies decided to start their own association. Bottom line is that the men are sort of protesting about spending on the ladies, and they are like, no, we don't want to spend on the ladies again. Well, I'm wondering why that is, but I think it's probably kind of like linked to the upcoming Valentine celebration. Is that it? Well, that's me speculating, don't mind me. Anyway, this idea, got me wondering about the fact that a lot of women, see men as their ATM, okay, automated teller machine. And I have actually seen posts, that women make, some women, and while giving their husbands accolades and the rest of it, they say things like, oh, you're my crown, which is beautiful, you're this, you're that, and then they say you're my ATM, and I'm like, okay, all right, but I really do understand that in the traditional setting, the man is expected, to be the breadwinner. He's expected to be in charge of the finances at home, to be financially responsible for all that goes on in the house, for the wife, for the children, and all of that. But then this doesn't just happen in marital relationships. Even in any form of romantic relationship, you see the ladies expecting the man, to spend on them, to be like the one bankrolling, all of their expenses and stuff like that. And I begin to wonder, is this how it's supposed to be? Should men be women's ATMs? Is that okay? Is that right? What exactly do you think about this? I'd really like to hear your thoughts, about calling men ATMs or expecting them to be solely, in charge of the finances or the spending in a relationship. So, Adenike, what do you think about this ATM issue? Let me hear your thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts. I think that my actual answer is it depends. Whether a man is married to a woman or they are dating, I think that as a matter of fact, when you love someone, you do give, but it shouldn't be out of compulsion or out of someone saying that because you are their ATM, etc. So you must give, and also, for me, my real answer is well, it really depends, but for me, I would say a man should know what he's doing and be careful. So if the man and the woman have agreed that, oh, okay, man, you're handling money, I'm taking care of the family, then if it works for them, fine. But for me, I don't think I would want to go in such a direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Adenike, for your point of view. That's quite insightful. But if I heard you well, you said that giving is not a must, or that it's not under compulsion. And you also said that the man should know what he's doing and should be careful. But I would need clarification on that. Are you talking in terms of marital relationship or dating or some other romantic relationship, are you saying that even in marriage, the man shouldn't give compulsorily, or you should be careful? I know what he's doing. I need clarification, on that. But before I come back to you, let me hear what Cynthia has to say about this ATM issue. So, Cynthia, what do you think is the man, the woman's ATM, or how should it be? Let me hear your thoughts.
Thanks, AOI. So, what do I think about a man being a woman's ATM? So, first and foremost, I'll say this, that nobody is you should not be at the mercy of anybody. If a guy comes into a lady's life and chooses, to take some responsibilities of his own volition, I think that the lady should have it at the back of our mind that at any point in time, without any warning, he can choose to refuse, he can choose to discontinue his goodwill. So what do I mean by that? Let's assume that a guy meets a lady and pays maybe a house rent. The following year, if they are still together in a relationship or whatnot, I don't think I don't think it is a fair expectation to think he is going to also pay for the house rent that year. If he pays it again, it is simply what? A gift. Likewise, if when for people that are in a relationship, I've always said that so that one person does not feel like they are always in the giving position. If your guy does A for you, on your own part, try and do B for the person, so that it doesn't feel like it's just one-sided. It's just it might not be at the magnitude that the person has done it. Maybe because if, for example, you're not as financially buoyant as he is. So if for example, let's say, using the last example I used, if a guy pays your house rent or something, little things like maybe when you're going to his house or something, buy food and take it there. Let's two of you eat together. If you guys go out, instead of him paying, offer to pay. It doesn't have to be something big, but when there is sort of an interchange in who is in the giving party, it doesn't always feel like just the guy is the ATM. So if you guys what else? I don't know, what other big purchases or expenses? Because that seems to always be the problem. And when it comes to even the guys in this situation, I think that they should also try to not take up a lot of responsibilities, so that it doesn't feel like they're always the one churning out. I remember that we had this conversation, I think, with Adenike sometimes ago, where we were saying that no guys, I think we were speaking about guys that usually take up educate them, the lady's education, and then after a couple of years, the lady realizes that she no longer wants him. She wants another guy or something, and then the guy feels like he has invested so much here. Was saying that I mean, maybe everybody should keep their finances when it comes to big purchases to each other and limit it to smaller things, like, okay, buying her a small phone, taking her out for lunch, maybe paying for her transport or whatever. And like I said earlier, the lady should also return such favors, so that it doesn't feel like it's only the guy. When it comes to big stuff, I think everybody should just do their day. Make the guy day in day, make the lady do their day. So that's really what I think.
Thank you, Cynthia, for that contribution. That's an interesting point of view there. And I really do agree that there should be no expectation as regards anyone, taking up the financial responsibility in a romantic relationship, either the man or the woman. I'll get back to pick a few points from what you have said, but before then, let me get back to Adenike and find out what she meant, when she said the man should be careful and know what he's doing. So Adenike, please, can you clarify that for me?
Okay, so what do I mean by the man should be careful? What I mean is that the man should be, the word is still careful, such that he knows that, particularly for the woman he's dating, what happens with some men is that they get into the woman's life and they begin to take over all the financial responsibilities that she has in their bid to show that they care. And then, of course, they carry over that that behavior into the marriage. So you can't totally blame the woman at that point, though I think that a lady ideally should understand that no human being should be 100% responsible for you financially. Even if someone decides that he wants to be, you should be a bit smart and know that no matter how well his intentions are, there are some things that are beyond him. He can't do it, and we'll just have to live with it. I hope that answers your question about what I meant by being careful. So what I meant is just that the man should understand. As I said before that I'm a believer. The man should understand that he's not God. Only God can take care of someone 100%. And so don't even try. Do your best because you love this person, but don't go beyond your best. Don't do things that you will go back later and say, oh, after all I've done for her. If you find yourself saying that, that means you went beyond your boundaries when you say that. So that's what I really mean, because then you begin to feel like you own the person or that the person owes you their life, and that's a place you want to be careful not to be in, because it is not a good place. You have practically made yourself a god unto that person, and it is not a healthy place to be. Thank you.
All right, it's getting clearer. Thanks, Adenike, for that clarification. Although for me, I'd say that in a marriage, the man and the woman are both responsible for the spending. These are two people building a home. These are two people building, their lives together. So I believe that the man and the woman should come together to figure out how the needs of the family, will be met. But then we know that there are lots of dynamics, as regards marital relationships. So I really don't want to delve into that. And especially because my main focus really is about other relationships that are non-marital, okay, other romantic relationships that are non-marital, because I believe that in a marriage, two should come together as one and work, these things out. Okay, but then I'll still ask a question, in the marital aspect, and I also want to ask another question, picking from some of the things Cynthia said. So I'm going to pose this question. It's like two questions in one to both of you, and then you respond accordingly. Now, there's this common saying, well, that I believe it's quite common among some women. I won't say all women. And, there's this saying or the belief that your money is our money, and my money is my money. So women say that their husband's money, is everybody's money. That's the money belongs to the husband, the wife, and the children, the entire family. But the woman's money is hers alone. She is not obligated to spend that money on the husband or on family needs. And I'm wondering, is how what do you think about this? Should that be the case? Is the man's money their money, but then the woman's money, is hers alone? She shouldn't spend that money, or she's not obligated, to spend that money on a man or on family needs. And then that's one question. Then the other question, from the example that Cynthia, gave, she mentioned something about whether if the man, for instance, decides to, pay rent, or just decides to pick some financial obligation, all right, for the lady, and the rest of that. And I'm wondering, is it that there is an unspoken or unwritten rule somewhere that the man must of necessity, take up a financial role in the life of a woman he is dating? I mean, would it be absurd for two people to be dating and there are no financial commitments? Of course, that doesn't mean that the man should not give, because of course the an expression of love is giving. Giving is an expression of love. Okay, so when you love someone, you give. It's I think it's a natural flow. When you love someone, you want to give to them, you want to help them with one thing or the other. But that's aside, does it is it absurd? Does it sound absurd for both of them to be in a relationship, to date one another, and not to be financially committed, to one another, in the sense that one is picking up the financial obligation of the other? Is it a must, or can we have relationships where there are no financial commitments and the relationship will still be very good and very okay? What do you think? Because I feel that a lot of people have that at the back of their minds. I remember a long time ago, someone was speaking to me, and she was practically bemoaning the fact that her boyfriend wasn't spending on her and stuff like that. And I had to ask at a point that, well, these needs of yours, don't you have family members, whether parents or something, that can help you with these needs? Why should another person's son be the one to take up this financial obligation in your life? And I just think that that's some type of mentality or mental set that a lot of people have. And it seems like if money is not involved in a relationship, it cannot move forward, or it cannot be good, or it cannot be okay. I understand the fact that someone you're dating might need to help you with one thing or the other, at some point or the other. But then, should it be an obligation if someone you're dating isn't picking up a financial obligation in your life? Does that mean that the person doesn't love you, or does that mean that relationship is absurd, or it's not the right type of relationship? I'd like to hear your thoughts, both of you. So Cynthia and Adenika, you're going to answer both questions that I have posed. So over to you.
Okay, so regarding your questions, I'm going to take them one after the other. So the first question is regarding the man's money is our money, and the woman's money is, her money is our money. I don't think that makes any sense, For me, the only situation where that is going to make sense is if the guy comes and says that, he belongs to the school of thought where he is supposed to take care of his family. That's use his own income to take care of his wife, children, just a family as a whole, and then his wife can keep her money, and do whatever she pleases with it. It is only in that situation that it makes any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense if a woman comes and says that my own money, I am meant to keep it, and we are supposed to spend my husband's money together. That is selfish, and that just reeks selfishness, and it's not fair on any human. No mother gave birth to her son to go and it's sweet if your husband takes responsibility for his family and everything like that. But things are not easy. It's not easy. So in the world of today, if we're going to go back in time, in the time where the man was usually the sole breadwinner, the woman that was not working to bring like money home, she was an homemaker. So all the responsibility of taking care of the non-financial aspect of taking care of the home fell on the woman. if we want to go back to that, and the two people involved, the man and the woman, if they are okay with it, they're okay, maybe that would work. But in today's world, we are all aware that, I mean, most times it takes two income to sustain a family. So it doesn't make it just doesn't make any sense, or it's just not fair for a woman to say that I'm not going to spend my money on the family. My man, my husband has to spend has to spend his money to take care of me. That's my own opinion. Then your second question regarding if it is a necessity for a guy to take up responsibility with his girl, or when they're in a relationship, or and that kind of stuff. It is definitely not a necessity, and I think it's an unfair expectation for any lady to have. Just because you're with a guy, you think that your whole problem, and you can put your whole problem on him. It is not fair to do that to any person. Whether even if it's not a man, if it's just a friend, it's not fair. Now, if a guy decides to do so of his own volition, that is fine. But the lady should also know that that support can be withdrawn at any time without any prior knowledge. You should expect it. It's like I was having a discussion sometimes ago with somebody, and I was saying that if, for example, a guy gets with a girl and he sort of pays for her rent this year, I think it's an unfair expectation to be expecting the following year is going to pay for her rent again. If by the following year he does pay for her rent, then, oh, thanks be to God. But it's unfair to expect it, or it's just unfair. And I was saying that if somebody does something for you, if a guy does something for you, I think it's only equal. Is that the word of fair again? I don't want to keep repeating the word fair. It's only normal for you to also chip in something. So using the previous example I used, if a guy pays for your rent, or if you paid for your rent, I mean, it's only fair to see ways that you can also be of help to him. If it is, oh, I'm going to visit him, stop by somewhere, make food and take it. If it is, if he has a challenge or something, and you see, if you see ways that you can come in to sort of alleviate or to sort of exterminate the problem, or you should do it, just to show some sort of appreciation, so the guy doesn't always feel like he's always giving, 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 giving. So doesn't feel like uh, 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 um I'm a constant ATM. So sort of a giving and receiving on both end kind of relationship. Now, as for the guys also, I think that you should be very careful when your relationship should be open enough for you to be able to your relationship should be open enough for you to be able to comfortably pass across a feeling. So if you feel like you are you are in a position where you're always giving, it could be that when you guys go out, you're always the one paying. I think it should be, if you're with somebody that you really like and you really love, that you're building with, you should be able to confidently and comfortably communicate how you're feeling. I mean, so that it doesn't become a situation where you are on your own thinking, oh my God, I am at ATM, or I'm this, I'm that. So it doesn't just get to that stage. If you feel like you are being stressed beyond what you would love to be, stressed, just communicate. Communication cannot be overemphasized. Tell her how you feel. If she's a reasonable person, and if she's worth it, I'm sure she would definitely she would definitely want to try to make things better. So that's what I think about it.
Okay, so I'm going to try to answer the first question about your money is her money is her money, and his money is our money. The way I would like to answer is, let's switch. I like to do that a lot. Let's flip the script. Imagine a man saying that her money is our money and his money is only his. The question is, does that sound fair? Does it sound fair to you? Where is that all coming from? I would like to hazard a guess. For many women, they would say that they will quote the part where they say that the man that cannot take care of his home is worse than an infidel. But to be honest, if you read the entire scripture, it wasn't actually talking about a man taking care of his wife and kids. They were talking about widows in the family. So if that's where you're coming from, you're wrong. If you're coming from that point, that standpoint. Otherwise, my question back to the person saying that is that what is your reference? What is your basis? How did you arrive at such a conclusion? I'm a scientist. And when you are, oh, sorry, I'm an engineer actually. And when you are doing a design, one thing they always ask you when you say A is equal to B, they ask you, what are you referencing? What code or standard are you referencing? What's your reference point? How did you arrive at that conclusion? So that's the question I'd like to throw back at whoever is saying his money is our money and my money is my money. How did you arrive at that conclusion? Is your basis correct? So I'll throw the question back to whoever is saying it. So to answer question two, my answer on a good day is that no one owes anybody anything just because they are in a relationship with one another. I like to say that a relationship is not a financial plan. However, as I've grown older, I've learned to put a caveat because you see the men that will say they don't owe a woman anything, but then they expect the lady they're dating to carry out some chores in their house. So I'll just give an example. Someone that comes around to clean came today to clean, and I wanted her to do something a bit beyond her normal cleaning that she's paid for. So I asked her to do it, and someone in the house, and I told her I was going to pay her extra, and someone in the house was like, "Oh, why are you paying her extra? Don't you think, as in, can't she do it as a favor?" And I told the other person that, well, if she offered to do it as a favor, then that's fine. But if I'm the one asking her to do it, it's a chore, so she has to pay. So I would like to put that caveat for the men that expect the women they are dating to come around to their house and do chores and all of that. If she's expecting money from you, that means you're paying for the chores. It's transactional. But if it's just reasonable people, I would say that no one owes anyone anything. But my caveat is that it depends on what the other party is even expecting as well.
I have to admit that I am practically on the same page with both of you regarding this topic. So I really do not have so much to add to what you have said. But as I try to wrap this up, I'd like to throw, the final questions to you. Well, hopefully those will be the final questions. All right. So Denike mentioned flipping the coin, and I really love that because I love to flip the coin too. I'm someone who believes that what is good for the goose should be good for the gander. So if you're someone who treats another person, in a particular way, and you expect them to take that treatment, then you should be able to take same treatment, from them. So let's flip the coin. Now, what if it's the woman who earns more money than the man? What happens in that case? Because, of course, traditionally, it's believed that the man, takes that role, providing for the family. And maybe sometimes he earns more, I won't say in most cases, but, in some cases. Now, let's flip the coin. If the woman earns more than the man, what happens, in that situation? How do you think it should play out? What do you think? I'd like both of you to weigh in on that matter and then, give me your response. Okay, and then the second question has to do with, what Cynthia said about the lady also bringing something to the table, okay, also chipping in something. So it shouldn't be the man doing the spending. She shouldn't always, take without even giving anything back in return. So in light of that, what do you think about going Dutch? When you go on a date, would you go Dutch? Is it okay to go Dutch, or should it be the man that still, does the spending and all of that? So what do you guys think?
Okay, so I'll answer the first question. Thanks, Doc, for the question. So your first question is, what if the woman earns more than the man? How should the couple deal with it? So my answer to that is that they should deal with it as responsible adults, which is uh, the person with the higher money has, in my opinion, this is the way I see things. Whatever money you have, you received it. So as the wife, if you have more money than your husband, and it's not like the man is lazy and just not doing anything, but it just happens that you happen to be earning more than he does. I think common sense should tell you that you should be putting more in the purse than he is, because at that time you've been graced to earn more than he does. It's a separate case if it's a man that has refused to work and is just acting like a bum and all that. That's another case. But if it's just the case that, in spite of the best efforts, the man happens to be earning less than the woman does, I think there should be an equitable sharing formula. Yeah. So for me, I would say that let's do it in the proportion of how you're earning. So if someone is earning 50,000 and another person is earning 5 million, I would still expect the one earning 50,000 to pull his or her weight, but I would expect more from the one earning 5 million per month, for example. It's just fair. That's what I would say. But then there's also the case of when some women are like, well, if they start putting in a lot more, then the man will not do anything. In my opinion, I think you should not punish Mr. Joe for the crimes of Mr. Shola. So give him the benefit of the doubt the first time. You know that you earn 5 million, for example. God has blessed you. You all are doing naked and not ashamed, which, in my opinion, should be the ideal thing. And so, share, be open. I know you want to buy a house, etc., but be open. Except he has given you a reason not to be open, then we can have another discussion. But if he hasn't done anything to make you paranoid as a woman, I think you should be as open as possible and be willing to pull your weight in the house. That's what I think, anyway. So the second question is, what are your thoughts on going Dutch on a date? I personally do not subscribe to it. I think whoever asked for the date should be willing to pay. Whoever it is should be willing to pay. So if it's the man, then he should be willing to pay. If it's the woman that wants to go out, I think whoever is asking for the date should be willing to pay for the date. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right. So for the scenario that you just painted regarding if the woman is the one that makes more money, my response to this would be communication. I've said earlier that communication is key. Communication is key. Nothing should be too big for discussion. If at the start of your marriage, I mean, I believe we are referring to a marriage relationship here. If at the beginning of your marriage, you were, maybe your husband was the one that was earning more and was contributing more to the family. If those tables turn, I mean, you should all should be able to go back to the drawing board, sit down and say, okay, fine, this has happened and this is how we're going to move forward. Logically, I wouldn't expect the man to be the one providing the money if the woman is making more than the man, but again, there's no one size fits all. Communication, sit down and think of how best, for your family to progress. If I were the one that was in that situation, I would I am going to of course, after discussing with my husband, I will definitely be taking majority, if not all. If my husband is not making any money at all, then the responsibility of financing the family falls on me, definitely. Hopefully, by God's grace, it's not going to be for a long time, but the responsibility falls on the person that is earning higher income. It's really that simple. It's not rocket for me. It's not rocket science. It should not be any long debate or back and forth. If you're earning more, you should definitely be the one contributing more, if not all. If your other spouse is not working, then it just, I don't know, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter whether it's the man or the woman. Whoever is earning more should be able to take up all or more responsibilities when it comes to the family finance. That's one. Regarding going Dutch, I know we've had this conversation before that we didn't record. Regarding going Dutch, this is because this is how I do my things. So if if a guy, if a guy reaches out to me and says, "Oh, Cynthia, I'd like us to go out together," and and all of that, automatically I'm expecting the guy to pay for the whatever cost that we're going to incur when we go out. And I say this because I remember that I said it that when we were having that discussion, that I also, if I want to go out with somebody, be my friend, male or female, if I'm the one that wants to go out, I can easily call them up and say, "Hi, hi guy, how you doing? This and that. Oh, I'd like us to go out together. Bills on me, and we go out. There's no discussion about it." So the person doing the reach out in my books should automatically be the one taking care of the outing. However, if at the point of the guy reaching out to me, if he says, "Oh, Cynthia, I'd like us to go Dutch," now it depends on the situation. If I think it's an okay situation for me to go Dutch, then I would agree to it. The key word here is, at the point when he was inviting me, he mentioned that, "Can we go Dutch, Cynthia?" I understand that. Not that you call for me to go out, we go out. I am already, based on what I just said, expecting you to take up the payments, or the cost of us going out. And then right there and then you are not expecting me to go Dutch. I'm sorry, I'm going to be disappointed. Would I in that instant, in fact, instead of going Dutch, I'm just going to pay for everything, and I don't think I'm going to um maybe speak to the person again or something. I mean, so maybe in response to your question, I don't have a problem with going Dutch. If you tell me earlier, then at that point, I do have the choice of either agreeing or not agreeing, and saying, "Oh, I'm not going out." But if you reach out to me and you say, "Let's go out," and you don't mention anything finance, I'm expecting you to pay and cover for it. If on that outing you then tell me, "Oh, Cynthia, we are going Dutch," I'm definitely going to be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. And the reason why I can confidently say, because I'm also all for equality. The reason why I'm saying this is because, like I said, this is something I do very well. If I want to go out with somebody or something, I can just say, "Hey, let's go to so and so place. I'm looking for a partner and whatever, and I'm going to cover the cost." So I don't have a problem with saying that. If you're asking me out to a date, you should cover the cost. And if I'm the one that reaches out to you, I will cover the cost. If I want us to go Dutch, whenever I reach out to you, I will tell you, "Oh, this is my intention. We are going, should, can we go Dutch?" And then you can, then you have the choice to decide whether or not you want to go Dutch, on that date, So that's what I think about it. Communication, again, it still boils down to communication. Communicate early, communicate at the right time. Don't communicate when we're already at the venue. And you're not telling me, Cynthia, "Oh, I'm expecting us to go Dutch." It's definitely not going to end well.
Hmm. So this my ladies whole when I won't go Dutch. So are you saying to me now that if I say, "Cynthia or Denike or any ladies, let's go hang out, or let's go watch a movie or something like that," now me go pay? Is that what you're saying? If I hear. All right. I guess we are actually speaking in terms of two people going on a date, especially two people of the opposite sex. And I do agree that if you initiate a hangout, a date, or something like that, you should be prepared to cover the cost. And just like Cynthia said, that's what I do. Okay, if I call on someone to say, "Hey, come hang out with me," I'm prepared, okay, to foot the bill, because that's how it should be. That's how I believe it should be. But then I personally do not have anything against going Dutch. And as regards what Cynthia said, about the guys saying ahead of time, that, okay, let's go hang out, but then we will go Dutch. I think if someone says that to me, it might sound offensive to me. I think so, because, don't say that to me. Don't tell me, well, we will go Dutch. Because before, for me, in my mind, I've already made up my mind that when I go out, anywhere, whether with someone or anything of that sort, I am prepared to, foot my own bill. So it wouldn't matter if it was someone who initiated, the date. And of course, most guys anyway, want to foot the bill. In fact, if you try to chip in or something, some guys might actually get offended, or at least feel offended that you're even, trying to pull your weight or something like that. So it's almost like, yeah, it's like a given. If someone asks you out, they would, take up the cost, or cover the cost, or foot the bill, as the case may be. But for me, I don't know. I feel comfortable, when I am also able to chip in one or two things, at least to just, chip in anyhow. So it's not alien to me, and I'm not going to wait for someone to say, okay, let's go Dutch. I would actually offer to, at least pay something, or put something down, or pay, for myself. And usually, the person will say, oh, come off it, or something like that. But what I'm saying, in a sense, is I don't have a problem with it. So you don't have to say to me, we will go Dutch. I am ever ready to go Dutch with anybody. If you cover the cost, oh, why not? That's good. That's actually sweet. The thing is, of course, everybody wants somebody to, at least take care of them, in a way. So if you take me out and then you foot the bill and everything, of course, it feels good. But then I don't see anything wrong with me also, playing a little part, or playing my part, in putting down something to cover the cost of whatever it is that, we are spent, or our expenses. So going Dutch for me is a no, is no big deal. It's cool. It's cool. So well, I wanted to say something. Oh, I think I forgot now. All right, no problem. I said that those last questions will be my last questions, and I want to keep to my promise. So let's just round this up. There's so much to talk about, but then we can't finish talking about everything, in a single episode. So hopefully, as other interesting things come up around this particular topic, we might revisit it again. But in the meantime, here's me signing out and saying bye bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode, and thank you for listening to us. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Gist Arena. We hope you enjoyed the topic discussed. Please drop your comments and let us know what you think about it. We'll definitely love to hear from you. Until next time, bye!